Hey there and welcome. I'm so glad you can join me on this webinar video. I have a bold promise for you. I'm going to show you how to reduce your chronic back and neck pain, improve your posture, and just move easier without going to the gym or getting a bunch of massages or spending thousands of dollars on chiropractic and medical services or hours of painful foam rolling. I'm going to give you the tools to reduce your pain and move easier, all without that stuff. Now later on in this video, I am going to show you a quick and simple way to reduce your muscular tension immediately that you can do anywhere, at home, at work, on a plane, anywhere. And that simple technique is going to help you reduce your tension and improve your pain and move better. So if you're interested in that kind of relief, stick around to the end of the video so you can see it. Now in the meantime, please put down your phone, put it on silent, put it to the side, shut off Facebook or any tabs you got open. Put away any other distractions other than this video so you can pay fully attention to what I have to say in this video so that you can get the most value out of it. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tommy Pruchinski, and I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. So in high school, I injured my shoulder and I had to have reconstructive surgery due to a wrestling injury. And ever since then, I've dislocated my shoulder quite a few times, and I've kind of become obsessed with posture corrective exercises to undo the effects of my shoulder injury. I went to physical therapists and chiropractors, and the physical therapist helped me heal my shoulder. My shoulder seemed to be fine, but I developed all these other problems. As you can see here, my posture is very, bent over, and trying all these stuff, physical therapy, posture corrective exercises, I couldn't fix my posture, and I started to get a bunch of neck and back pain to go along with it. And then I actually, I began working on computers in digital marketing, and I also found that, sitting down for 8 hours a day and looking at screens, these posture and pain problems became even worse. So over the years, I have experimented with a bunch of different ways to, improve back pain and neck pain and improve posture and improve movement overall. I've tried martial arts and done a bunch of different dancing. As a stand-up comedian, I've tried a bunch of stuff that actors and musicians do, notably the Alexander technique and the Feldenkrais method, which is very popular among dancers. And I've done martial arts and meditation and other Eastern practices living in Asia. And I found ways to reduce my pain and improve my posture and overall movement. Some powerful tools that I started to share with my colleagues who also experience a lot of neck and back pain working on computers. And those colleagues became my first clients, and they introduced me to more people, and then all of a sudden I had a business. So today I'm going to share with you the building blocks for how to dramatically improve how you feel in your body, the building blocks that I teach my clients and that I'm going to share with you today. So without further ado, how to reduce chronic back and neck pain, improve posture, and move easier without going to the gym or spending hours of painful foam rolling or spending thousands of dollars on chiropractic or medical services. So what separates people that move pain-free from the rest? There's a little secret. These people have a sixth sense. And actually we all have this sixth sense. But the great movers among us have a very well-developed sixth sense. you can see with this dancer. Now, great musicians have a highly developed auditory sense. They have great ears. Great movers have a highly developed kinesthetic sense. The kinesthetic sense is the sense of how your body moves in space, or the sensory experience of how particular body parts move in relation to other body parts. For example, if you reach out your hand away from your body to grab your phone, then you reach your hand toward your face to use the phone. When you're performing these seemingly simple movements, your muscles and brain are sending loads of signals back and forth to each other. And your kinesthetic sense is the sense which communicates these signals about the tension and compression of your muscles and position of your muscles and joints to tell your brain how you're moving. Now, for most people, this sensory information is simply background noise, unless you're a dancer or an athlete or a surgeon or a craftsman, professions for whom how you move strongly impacts your performance. You're not really paying attention to the details of how you move on a regular basis. But these types of people with highly developed kinesthetic sense, they can distinguish between two movements that to most of us would seem the same, like how two sounds would seem the same to most of us, but to someone with a highly trained ear, they can differentiate it. Or how two handwriting signatures would seem the same to you or I, but to a handwriting expert, they can differentiate the small details. Accurate movement requires accurate sensation, and the best movers among us can make finer distinctions between two movements that would seem the same to most other people. Now, there's a multitude of ways to perform any one movement. When you're first learning how to do a new movement, say throw a baseball or strum a guitar, learn the basic salsa step, or when a baby learns to walk, you're very attuned to these signals that your muscles and brain are sending each other. And you're trying to find a manner of movement that accomplishes the task most efficiently. So your nervous system is working out different ways and trying to find the best way to do it. However, as we grow older, we get into habits and we stop paying attention to how we move. We have limited attention span, we have limited cognitive energy, and we want to put those resources toward what we're doing. We want to put those resources towards the things that we think will give us the most bang for our buck. So, for instance, sitting down and standing up from a chair, it involves a complex of muscles and nerves working together to perform the movement. But these movements have become habitual, so we stop paying attention to the sensory signals involved in this activity. Now, when we get pains in the neck or a shoulder twinge, a back pain that keeps us from working or enjoying time with friends and family, what are these but signals from our body that what we're doing has the potential for harm? Now, most of the time, these pain signals pass after a pause or a quick adjustment. We pull our shoulder backs and it feels better. But if left unaddressed, these can become neurologically wired until we're living in a constant state of discomfort, stiffness, and pain. So the problem moves from the background, occasional annoyance, to the center stage. If you want to reduce pain and move easier and live more comfortably, training your kinesthetic sense, your movement sense, is the key. Now, you're probably familiar with the phrase, more pain, more gain, especially if you're, a weightlifter or something involved in exercise. Now, we're going to be taking a very different approach with our kinesthetic sense. That is, less pain, more gain. See, the key to reducing your postural pain and movement is developing your kinesthetic sense. But how do you do that? What does kinesthetic training entail? Now, it's not the same as exercise. So if you lift weights or you swim or you do any sort of exercise, you're probably familiar with prescriptions for good form. Keep your back straight, shoulders down, knees straight, glutes tight, as you can see in this image. With kinesthetic training, we're going to go even deeper into good form. We're going to be exploring the details, sensations, and relationships between body parts that are normally hidden in the experience of moving. So with good form, we're talking about a prescriptive thing. We're telling people do this, do that. But with kinesthetic training, it's more of exploring these things, exploring how different body parts relate with one another. We're going to be exploring the process of moving, not the product of moving, or more. So again, we're looking at the process, the how of moving, not exactly the what. So right now we're going to do a little kinesthetic exercise. So as you do this, I want you to pay attention to what you notice in your body. So what we're going to do is lie on your back like this. On the ground, maybe you have a pillow or a book or a cushion under your head, and your knees are bent, feet flat on the ground, arms at your side comfortably. Now again, I want you right now as you're laying there to pay attention to what you notice in your body. So, do you feel heaviness, pain, tension, tightness, stiffness somewhere? Where do you feel that? Where do you feel the weight of your body going into the floor? And as we do this little exercise, don't try to force any changes. I want you to pay attention to the changes that are going on in your body. Just do that. Just pay attention to what's actually happening without any goal that you're forcing. Just be open to see what's going on. So as you're lying there, I want you to make with your non-dominant hand, gently make a loose fist. And then slowly and smoothly open it back up. Now just go back and forth, opening and closing your hand, lightly, gently, smoothly. Do this a few times. And then, do you notice anything in your forearm or your upper arm, shoulder, neck, back? Is anything changing? Has that side of your body gotten heavier or lighter, stiffer or looser? Continue opening and closing your hand and seeing how these other body parts are being affected by this. What about the other side of your body? Do you notice any changes? So what we're doing here, by opening and closing our hand, we're practicing contracting and releasing some muscles. And what that does when we alternate between that in a very soft and gentle way is it lowers the overall tension in our body. And when we lower the overall tension in our body, we begin to notice smaller changes. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. It's like that for your kinesthetic sense. People with highly attuned kinesthetic sense can notice smaller changes. So when you're doing a movement that might not be ideal, you can adjust for that. Whereas someone with a kinesthetic sense that isn't highly developed and they have, a lot of tension in their body, when they make a movement that isn't ideal, they can't tell the difference between one that is ideal. So by lowering the tension, we're able to notice smaller changes, so then we can see how a movement in one body part affects the other body parts. And we can see how the body parts are interconnected, and we can progress in learning how to use our body to perform any movement with the least amount of effort necessary. In psychophysics or physiology, there's a law called the Weber-Fechner law. And it goes like this: the just noticeable difference between two stimuli is proportional to the magnitude of the stimuli. Now, what that means in English is that the smaller the magnitude, the smaller the volume of a sound, for instance, you're able to notice smaller changes. Or, for instance, this is a great example from one of my heroes, Moshe Feldenkrais. If I raise an iron bar, I shall not feel the difference if a fly either lights on it or leaves it. If, on the other hand, I'm holding a feather, I shall feel a distinct difference if the fly were to settle on it. The same applies to all senses: hearing, sight, smell, taste, heat, cold. So, if you're holding a weight, if you're holding a small weight, you can notice if if something, a half a pound is put on it. But if you're holding something 100 pounds, you're not going to notice if a half pound thing is put on it. So that's what we're doing by lowering our body tonus. We can recognize smaller changes, so then we can choose the types of movement that use up less effort. And when we're using less effort, we have more energy to use for other things. So what we're doing is giving our nervous system options. By giving our nervous system options, we can allow our nervous system to choose the ones that are the best option. So in the beginning, it might take a little more cognitive effort because you're doing things in a novel way. But the ultimate goal is to move and position your body in ways that are pain-free without having to use your precious cognitive attention. Just doing it automatically, building those new habits. So what we just did is what I call a bottom-up approach to lowering our body tension and improving our kinesthetic sense. But there's also a top-down approach to improving your kinesthetic sense. And that is, how does your thinking affect your sense of muscular tensions? So what happens to your overall muscular tension when you think a certain thought? See, our thoughts affect our body, and when we pay attention to this relationship, we can begin to improve our movement and reduce our pain through the top-down processing of thoughts. So again, here's a little experiment I want you to do. Pay attention to your body and how it feels and how it changes when you think the following thought. Ah, what a nice day. How does that feel in your body when you think that thought? Ah, what a nice day, like a sunrise and a nice breeze just rolls over you. How does that make you feel in your body? Now let's compare that to this following thought. Oh my, not again. Oh, not again. Okay, like you just missed the bus or something, or you left your keys at home. How does that thought change your overall muscular coordination and tension? And again, these changes may be very subtle, but again, when we work to develop this kinesthetic sense, we can begin to notice how simple things like thought can affect our overall bodily coordination and muscular tension and quality of movement. So again, we have the top-down way of changing our thoughts to experiment with our kinesthesia, and we have the bottom-up way of movement itself to experiment with kinesthesia and improve our relationship to our kinesthetic sense and improve the way we move and reduce our pain. So again, the bottom-up kinesthetic training is lowering overall tonus and performing gentle movements to explore the sensations and relations between the body parts. And again, what we're doing is giving our nervous system options. The thing is, a lot of times, in the course of modern life, some muscles get super tight and they can't relax, and then other muscles kind of, get really weak and they stop firing. Like, for instance, if you sit a lot, what tends to happen is your hip flexors, get really tight and they can't relax, and then your butt stops working, your glutes stop firing, and what also happens is your abdomen stops firing, and your lower back gets really tight and it can't relax. So by doing these gentle movements, we're trying to turn the lights back on for a lot of these muscles that have turned off. The nerves stop firing, and then we're trying to turn the lights off, or at least temporarily teach these other muscles how to relax. So, we're working on the connections between your nerves and muscles and getting them to fire in novel ways so that your nervous system can have options to choose the better way. And then the top-down kinesthetic training is lowering your tonus through your thinking and exploring how thoughts affect your movement and your coordination. So here's another experiment that I'd like to do in regards to the top-down kinesthetic training. So I want you to, right now, pay attention to how your body feels, okay? How you're feeling in this moment. And I want you to think about the space above your head. That there is space going on above your head, and it is increasing. It's expanding. The space above your head is expanding into an infinity. And then also the space below you, if you're sitting down, below the chair, or below your feet, below the floor. Think about that space and how it is expanding and expanding onto infinity. So above you is infinity, and below you is infinity, and you're in the middle. And then in front of you, think about that space in front of you and how it goes on and on and on to infinity. And the space behind you, which you may not be paying attention to often, just be aware of it. You don't have to turn around or look that way. Just kind of sense that, there's space behind you and it's going on and on into infinity. And then to your left and right, there's space and it's going on and on into infinity. So you're surrounded by all sides. You're surrounded on all sides by space that goes on for infinity, and you're in the middle of it. You are balanced in this space. Again, don't force anything, but just be open to what you might notice, any changes that happen when you think that thought. Just a little experiment. Now, a lot of us, especially people that work on their computers and spend a lot of time looking at their cell phone, you spend all this time with your attention focused about, a foot in front of you, and our body tends to constrict into that space. Our head pulls forward from our neck. But when we pay attention to the space that's all around us, there's this tendency to fill out that space. At least that's what I found, and that's what my clients found when I do this exercise with them. But again, there's no right answers here. It's just experimenting with different movements and thoughts and your attention to see how it affects your sense of your body and your movements. So I want to ask, have you enjoyed this video so far? If you have, I got a special offer for you. And I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had a great massage or felt great after a good workout, but the relief was gone after a day of work, getting back into the grind of things? What if I can help you learn the tools to give yourself relief that sticks? I'm not promising complete freedom from pain and discomfort. That's impossible. But what I can give are ways to improve yourself without waiting days or weeks to go to your get your back cracked by a chiropractor or go to a massage therapist. Or you see, lasting relief comes through changing the underlying movement patterns and neural pathways. That's how you can improve your posture and reduce the pain. And what I'm going to teach you, and what I've hoped I've showed you a glimpse of in this video, is giving yourself the tools so that you're in the driver's seat of your own relief and posture and movement, so that you're in control and you don't have to rely on massage therapists or chiropractors or anyone else to help you improve your relationship to your body, your relationship to gravity, feel more comfortable in your body and move easier through the world. So if you've enjoyed this video so far, I have a special invitation for you. I am offering a free 1-hour attention movement training call with me, yourself truly. It's going to be an online video call for 1 hour. You'll get my undivided attention to help you improve your posture, reduce your pain, and get you moving better. Now, I typically charge my clients $100 an hour for this type of stuff, but I'm offering a free call to you because you watched this video, and I'm working on an online course right now, so I want to get a bunch of feedback on this sort of work so I can work on that course. So that's why I am offering these calls for free. So what are we going to do on the call? Well, we're going to discuss your situation, your history, your movement lifestyle, and what you think is holding you back from moving and living the way that you want to live. And then we're going to identify some problem areas that you have, problem movements, things that cause you pain. And then we're going to work on the bottom-up kinesthetic training, so that is, the gentle movements to differentiate body parts from other body parts and to integrate those body parts into a unified whole so you can move your whole body with more ease and less pain. And I'm going to show you the meditation on ease, which is a 2-minute daily practice that lowers the noisy activity in the nervous system so that you can notice smaller changes in your kinesthetic sense and that you can find the ease that already exists in your body. So that's that. We're gonna, what the stuff that I work on is not about more pain, more gain. It's less pain, more gain. By doing gentle things and experimenting with our attention and gentle movements in a pain-free way, we give our nervous system options so that we can reduce that pain and move in a more unified way. So now I want to tell you a story about 2 old men. And it has to do with, again, being able to move with less tension. Being able to move with less tension means that you use less energy and you use less energy in your daily movements, so you have more energy to do things that you want to do, whether that's being productive at work, enjoying your life, playing with friends and family, less stress and anxiety from the movements, more energy for focus, more energy for sex, more energy to just feel more comfortable and confident in your body. And the stuff that we're training here, it's going to help you maintain your vitality better as you age, and that's what this little tale is about. So my parents' next door neighbor is in his 90s, and every day he's outside in the yard gardening, taking out the trash. He moves easy and he's in his 90s. But my dad, who's in his 60s, ever since he retired, a few years back, he's been kind of deteriorating. He can barely get out of his chair. He moves very, very slowly. It hurts him to move. You can see it. And, it hurts me to see my dad like that. And I know, sadly, that there's people in their 30s and even 20s that move with more strain and tension that our 90-year-old neighbor does. And I want to help people prevent that, because I'm of the opinion of the strong opinion that your quality of movement is a huge factor in your quality of life. I mean, if you're able to dance and run and jump and, move around easy, just, sitting up and getting out of the chair, getting out of the bed easy, it's going to make your life a lot more fulfilling in the physical sense. And, moving is what humans do, and that's how, death is the cessation of movement. When we stop moving, we literally die. So keeping that quality of movement and in a pain-free way is going to make our lives a lot more fulfilling. So consider this free call that I'm offering you today a step in the direction towards ensuring a more joyful physical life, one that's pain-free and one that allows you to do all the things that you want to do. So you have two choices. You can book that free call and go down that path, or you can keep doing what you're doing, and don't take any action about it. So my question is, how do you want to spend the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life, if you're lucky enough to live that long? Do you want to spend it with a lot of pain and tension, or do you want to take a step towards moving more pain-free and more joyously? So that's my question, and that is your decision. And again, have this free call that I'm offering, and I'm not going to be offering it free for a long time, so please book it while you can. So to get that free call, go to calendly.com/TPRU/ATTN-MVMT. So T Prue is, my name's Tommy Perchinsky, so Tommy Prue, and then attention movement. That is the name of the call. So go ahead and schedule that, and I look forward to seeing you on the call.